Welcome to SchezzWho, your top spot for politics. Now, my role in bringing you great political content requires your role in participating with it. So, like this video, comment on this video, ask questions on this video, share it to your friends, and subscribe to the SchezzWho channel. And now, on to that which keeps this show going, starting with Mr. Farley Perkins at the Farley Perkins Agency. He'll help you out with insurance needs here in Hampton Roads. As long as you call 757-271-6655, he'll help you with that. Let's say you happen to be in the mood for some sweet treats like shakes or ice cream, and you're here in Portsmouth. Then head on over to High Street, 340 High Street, for ELG Sweet Boutique, and they'll help your sweet tooth. If you just want some good old-fashioned Southern dinner, then head on over to Ellen's Homestyle and Barbecue Express, also with a location here in Portsmouth at 4206 Portsmouth Boulevard, but another location in Virginia Beach, right across from Regent University. Excellent food down there at Ellen's. Mr. Seiko Varner created Positive Vibes Incorporated, which helps with credit fixes and tax resolutions and lending private money and doing debt consolidation and all the good stuff to help you out. If you're in need of his services, or even just a good DJ, then call 757-932-0177. And also don't forget, Mr. Seiko created the Hampton Roads Green Book, which is a fantastic application in order to help you find Black-owned businesses in Hampton Roads. And last but definitely not least, in fact, the most, the Black Swan podcast put on by my awesome, talented, lovely wife, Andrea Dixon Chesviner, with some great content coming out soon. So look for the Black Swan podcast. Now, it's been a great week on SchezzWho, if I don't say so myself. We got to hear from Chesapeake Commissioner of the Revenue candidate Jennifer Naparella, who checked in with Virginia Beach City Council member Cash Jackson Green, learning about some of the initiatives that he has going this year. One of those candidates was a Democrat, one a Republican. Our subscriptions have bounced over 130 for the first time. We have momentum, folks, and I love that. And speaking of momentum, I'm feeling a brewing momentum of anti-Republican spirit. It's sweeping into Virginia. Abigail Spanberger is up about 10 points on Winsome Sears. Sunita Hashmi is up 10 or so over John Reed. And Jay Jones is up about 9 on Jason Miyares. I think a big anti-Republican movement will sweep into next year in the midterms, such as Virginia's 2nd District, where this wave might unseat Jen Kiggans. One of those folks looking to do so is my guest, Nicolaus Sleister. So, Mr. Nicolaus Sleister, how are you doing on this Wednesday night?
I'm doing great, thank you.
I'm glad to have you on because I love politics. Good to see that you're definitely taking a very brave stance in politics, so this should be quite a fun evening. Now, I want to begin with the topic of you. How about a little bit of a bio on yourself?
Yeah, so I am Nicolaus Sleister. I'm a military spouse, a father, and middle-class Virginian running for Congress right here in Virginia's 2nd District. I wasn't born into politics. I was called into it by challenges my family and I have faced. Healthcare costs, housing instability during PCS moves, and trying to build a stable life in the face of government decisions made without people like us in mind. I believe that we have more in common than what divides us, and I'm running for Congress because I know we're stronger as one.
All right. If you don't mind me asking, how about a little bit about some of your education? What led you to political thought? Stuff like that.
Yeah, as far as education goes, I have a certificate in Homeland Security and Emergency Management, and that's about as far as it goes. I graduated, I got my GED when I was 17, did some medical training and became a certified medical assistant, but getting to politics was never really part of the plan, per se. I decided to jump into politics back in Washington.
If you don't mind me asking, that might be cool. Next question. You're from Washington. I understand you ran for Senate in Washington. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so So I grew up in rural Kansas, south of Kansas City, and that's where I met my husband. We moved down to San Antonio and up to Washington. Once we were in Washington for our second time up there, it was just after George Floyd had been killed. And every time I saw George Floyd's face, I saw my husband and my son's face. And I didn't want that to continue on. I wanted to put a stop to it. I wanted to fight for civil rights, and I wanted to fight for justice. And so I felt, because I ran for U.S. Senate as a Democrat against a Democrat incumbent, that our Democrat incumbent at the time, and still is the Democratic senator, was not doing enough to help push for change in our policing here in the United States.
I like the sound of that, pushing against a little bit of what might be considered an establishment. And that leads me to, you're now here, Suffolk, I believe, and that's still the 2nd District of Virginia. So this makes your second Democrat primary, and it's fair to say you are a Democrat. It took me more than a decade to traverse from conservative to libertarian to now quite a progressive Democrat. So I'm curious if you have a similar shift, or if you have largely been Democrat.
Yeah, so my entire adult life, I have been a Democrat. I grew up in a conservative household. I wouldn't call it solid conservative because, again, my parents voted in different ways. But more importantly, I've always been a believer in fairness, decency, and community. My politics come from lived experiences. I've seen what happens when people like us are left behind, and I've always fought for the underdog. That's why I align with the democratic values of protecting rights, lifting families, and expanding opportunity.
Sounds about right to me. Now, Virginia's 2nd District currently has Jen Kiggans as the incumbent, and she's a Republican Congresswoman. I've known her since her first run for state Senate back around 2019. And while she is quite a nice person, policy-wise, I had big issues with her. So not the least of which is her proximity to MAGA and the Trump sycophancy. So how are you approaching her as a prospective opponent and Trump as a president of a government you wish to serve in?
Yeah. So bringing up Jen Kiggans, she talks like a moderate, but votes like a MAGA extremist. Her support for Trump-aligned policies, including the big ugly bill that slashed support for our veterans and working families, proves she's not serving the district. She is serving herself, her donors, her corporate donors, and Trump. And that threatens our democracy. And anyone who enables it doesn't belong in Congress. And I'll work every day in good faith, but I will not normalize extremism.
All right. Now, in 2017, very early in 2017, right after Trump was sworn in, an organization called the Justice Democrats were founded. They were a means to progressively shift the Democrat Party with a strong, more left-leaning set of candidates in primaries of established Democrats. Many of them won, notably AOC, Ayanna Pressley, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Cori Bush, Jamal Bowman. I like that movement. I think it could do wonders, even for a district like Virginia's 2nd. And I'm curious if you might share a similar view.
Absolutely. The Justice Democrats brought energy, courage, and accountability back to our party. And I believe in a Democratic Party that isn't afraid to fight for healthcare, housing, and climate justice. VA2 deserves bold leadership, not watered down politics.
Now, the organization was really centered on a strong want to get money out of politics. They wanted to support candidates which refused to get corporate PAC money. What is your take on corporate PAC money in our elections?
Yeah. So one, I don't take corporate PAC money. I don't take PAC money at all. And that's full stop. I'm a grassroots candidate. That means we're powered by the people, by real people, not shadow people. We're not backed by CEOs, lobbyists. And Jen Kiggans, she can keep her corporate checks because I'm going to keep my integrity on that one.
I like that little input there about she can keep the money. I'm going to be strong of character. I really like that. I do have the first question of the night, which is, what do you dislike most about Kiggans? Perhaps it's the corporate money. Perhaps it's the being moderate on verbal appearance, but not actually on her voting record. What would you say you might dislike the most?
The thing I dislike most about Jen Kiggans is the fact that she is lying to her constituents. She voted for the big ugly bill, which gives tax cuts to billionaires, cuts Medicaid, Social Security, and SNAP benefits, and she's not saying that. She's absolutely outright. She's saying one thing out the one side of her mouth and something completely different to her Republican colleagues, and she says that she didn't like everything in the bill, but she still voted for it. Well, she could have voted against it, and we could have went back to the drawing board to do some more negotiating rather than voting for a big ugly bill. And she has disgraced all of us here, or dishonored all of us here in Virginia's 2nd Congressional District by voting for that bill, because hundreds of thousands of people in Virginia are going to lose SNAP, Social Security, and Medicare.
And I can confirm that she has said a lot of that. I recently was at the Republican Party breakfast at the Golden Corral on Independence Boulevard in Virginia Beach, where she visited and she spoke. She said all that. And you're right, with the margins that are still currently pretty small in Congress, even one Republican vote can make a big difference if she decided to be like, I don't like this. I'm going to speak out against this. I'm going to withhold my vote until such time as something is improved. But she didn't. So there's that.
Yes.
Now, I also see another question from Mr. Burke. The Stringfellow, hold on for that one because that'll be on one of my prepared questions a little later. But first, the Trump White House just found a way to eliminate the income-driven repayment plan for student loans. I think not being willing to cancel student debt outright was a bit of a blight of the Biden administration. And now Trump just smashed paying back loans for poor people. What would you want to see happen on student debt?
So, let me first start by saying it's outrageous. Trump's move will punish working people for seeking an education. I support widespread student debt cancellation, expanding access to free community college and trade schools. We should invest in people. We shouldn't be burying people in debt so that way they can make a better life for themselves.
Right, and then if I could, I would like to follow up on that topic regarding the subject of education generally. How about the concept of free trade school and free college? Might that be worthy proposal?
Sorry, what was that again?
Justice Democrats also like the idea not just of canceling student debt, but they like, going forward, free trade school and free college. Is that something that you might also want to second as a congressman?
Yeah, so I think we should have free community college. And I think that trade schools should be free as well, because we need tradesmen in throughout our entire country. We're short on them. I work in construction, and we're struggling to find good people for our sector of what I do in building construction. And so that portion of it, yes, we should definitely have free trade schools and help people better themselves. And free community college goes a long way. And I mean, we do free K through 12 for the moment. I think they're trying to get rid of that as well, which I completely oppose. Yeah. But I think going forward, we need to have free community college. Private colleges, I don't think. But if a community college, you can get an associate's and a bachelor at many of them.
Now, it's good to learn that you're in the construction. I think you just said business here, and I assume that's in the local area. And that we would also know that that is a business that, like many other businesses, are going to be affected by tariff policy. And Trump is still messing around with his tariffs. The second district is full of agriculture, and service industry drops too, which also can negatively be hurt by such actions by Trump. So what is your wish to combat that?
Yeah. So as you just stated, Trump's tariffs plan are going to gut our service industry, our ag jobs, and small businesses here in the second. And we need a smarter economic approach, one that protects local industry, rebuilds our supply chains, and helps workers transition to a green economy.
Now the green economy part I might be able to touch on a little later, but how about we go on to, if the prompt of mine opens, which it's not. Give me 1 second here. I'm running into one of those scenarios where it just is not responding to my own cursor. But at least now I see that, and I'll bring up my prepared remarks. Okay, here we go. Now, the Justice Democrats also have a wish for a jobs guarantee. This is very FDR type vision for economic populism. Do you like the idea of a jobs promise for folks in the area? We already have so much federal government infrastructure.
Yeah. So every American who wants to work should be able to, and we have more than enough to build roads, energy, infrastructure, and care systems. Jobs guarantee, especially here within our federal infrastructure, is not only possible, it's necessary. We have a huge amount of work that we need to get done, and we need to stop. The administration needs to stop blocking that funding so that way we can get these things done.
I would personally second that. Now, we mentioned a little bit of a green economy aspect, and the Green New Deal, something that the Justice Democrats like, was proposed, but it failed to come all the way through Congress. It was sort of chopped up into pieces. Some of it was put into Biden's infrastructure bills. Do you think we need to expand on Green New Deal type policy?
Absolutely. Climate change is an urgent threat, especially here in Virginia's coastal communities. And I support investing in clean energy, coastal restoration, and green jobs that can power our economy without poisoning our future. Jen Kiggans voted against nearly every climate protection bill that came her way.
All right. Now, one way that I like to portray Jen Kiggans, because I go to her page and make comments, is that of someone who wants to protect the tax cuts of Bruce Thompson, who is a renowned hotel owner up and down the Virginia Beach oceanfront. But she wants to slash the government services of people that work for Bruce Thompson. So where do you stand on our broader tax system, and what would you change if you could?
Yeah, we need to change how our tax system works completely. We need to start taxing the top 1% their fair share. We need to we need our lower income and middle class families to stop paying more than Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. That's where we have an issue at, because they are not paying their fair share. And so the wealthy should pay. And we should fully fund services like education, healthcare, and housing with that money and stop this corruption inside our tax system. And that was part of the big, beautiful bill, is to give them giant tax cuts and to kind of sugarcoat that they're keeping the 2017 tax cuts that we've been living under since 2017, which is definitely costing families thousands of dollars each year.
And as soon as you said sugarcoat, I thought of Trump recently saying that Coke is going to now have cane sugar in its products. And I'm thinking that might also have a negative effect on the agricultural industry, which heavily relies on high fructose corn syrup is produced by corn. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that we need to be ready and willing to go as someone like yourself being in Congress.
Most definitely. I was driving back from Richmond today, and my vehicle took me down the rural roads or the back roads instead of down the interstate, and just driving along through beautiful Virginia. And there's cornfields out there. That's going to impact our farmers who are growing corn. It's going to lower the cost of corn because it's not going to be as much demand, and it's going to impact them negatively. And we shouldn't be doing that. So
now there's also an idea from the Justice Democrats. They simply say expanding Social Security. But I am now of the opinion Social Security can be expanded into pretty much a universal income type of program. And some of it could be adjusted based on the recipient for the prospect of reparations. Do you like these ideas?
Yeah, so I am open to creative justice-centered solutions like these. Reparations should be a real national conversation, and Social Security must be protected and expanded. Everyone deserves dignity, whether in retirement, disability, or recovering from systemic injustice.
I hear you on that. I hear you on that. Now, we recently heard that Trump slashed tens of thousands from the VA. And this is an area with a huge military veteran population. And many in Virginia are on Medicaid as well, which with the big catastrophe bill is being slashed. So I would want to ask, wouldn't Medicare for all be a great way to help pretty much everyone?
Absolutely, yes, 100% yes. Medicare for All would eliminate medical bankruptcies, expand access to protected military families, or protect military families, seniors, and working class people. And Jen Kiggans voted to slash all of that during her vote for the big beautiful or big ugly bill. She calls it a big beautiful bill. I don't know what's beautiful about it, but I would vote to guarantee care for everyone.
Which now allows me the chance to offer up on the screen the other question by Mr. Burke Stringfellow, also running for Congress. What type of healthcare system do you support? Of which Medicare for All would be a very simple single payer type system, which is beneficial to the most possible people in the United States. So it also saves just a lot of money for the entirety of the economy, but not a lot of the conservative mindset wants to entertain that thought.
Yeah.
So as I
just to respond to that, I mean, here's
knock something over.
The best analogy I've heard on this is, there individuals complain about not wanting to pay for something. Well, if somebody doesn't drive, should they be paying taxes for our roads? If they're not using it, should they be paying taxes on it? It benefits all of us, but if they're not using it, but that's the question, right? And absolutely yes, we pay taxes as a society to help the broader group of people, so that it helps all of us. And whether you're using Social Security right now or Medicare right now or SNAP, there may be a day that comes that you need that. And so we need to make sure that, yes, people are being able to utilize that, because everybody has a different situation. Everybody has a time when they need help. And that is what we should be doing, is helping our neighbors, helping our family, and helping our communities.
I admit I appreciate that vision of wanting to not only help the community beyond the broad aspect, but actually literally with policy, which is considerably more effective than just words alone. So I'm going to second that. I would also like to take this opportunity, if I can go to the share screen option here. Permit me a second, because I want to share your website onto the screen, good sir.
All right.
And I believe I have it up here. Or did it pop up yet? Nope, got to add it to the stage. There we go. I have your website up on the screen, and for viewers, that is nickva2.com. And I'm greatly appreciative that you've been able to not only come on and talk about some of your political views, we're able to get people to see that you have your website up. They can donate, they can volunteer, they can do more stuff like that. But before I get to some of the closing out type questions, I wouldn't mind learning a little bit about what you have learned from moving to this area of Virginia. What is great, say, in your opinion, about Suffolk? What have you seen in Chesapeake if you've been by there? Virginia Beach, what are your favorite places to go to, hang out, businesses and restaurants to eat at? What makes this area cool?
Yeah. So one thing I would say is that since we've moved to Suffolk, since we've moved to Virginia 2nd District, we have found community. Our neighbors all get along. We all talk to each other, all have conversations. Suffolk itself, everybody is just wonderful around here. And so that is one thing. But my favorite places here, one in Suffolk, would be West Side Burgers. That's a family favorite. We go there some weeks 2 or 3 times, but most of the time we're going there once a week, just because we love it so much. It's a great place to go, hang out with the family. We love the beaches. We got to go to the beach first time since moving here a few weeks ago. And just being able to shop at all of the small businesses around here and the farmers markets, it's really great because it's not easy finding a lot of small businesses depending on where we live, for military installations. So that would be that. And one of the things I enjoy doing is barbecuing. I did that last night, barbecued some burgers on the grill and spending time with the family. But I would say Virginia's 2nd District, the biggest thing I love about this district is it has something for everybody. Hampton Roads in general has something for everybody. So you can always find something to do if you're bored.
I second that opinion now that I live in Portsmouth, but come from Virginia Beach. I have seen this area, transform over the years, but it's still, to me, a great place, fun place. And I don't get to see as much about Suffolk as I should. I know what immediately comes to mind is the Peanut Festival.
Yes.
I know that'll be coming around. Chesapeake has its famous Jubilee. Virginia Beach always has festivals that come down. And the cool part about yourself while campaigning in the 2nd District is that you got to get quite familiar with all of it. So all the way up to the Eastern Shore too, which I believe, no, I'm pretty sure, goes all the way to the Maryland line. So
it does, yes.
You got to even go to Wallops Island. You got to go to the Chincoteague Pony River Swim, stuff like that. So work out ahead of you is going to be tough, but it's rewarding because you get to see a lot of Eastern Virginia that way.
Most definitely. I made it to the one of the rallies that the Eastern Shore Democrats put on a few weeks ago, I think maybe a month or so ago, and just driving up there is so beautiful.
Now, before we go to what I like to do is have everyone do their elevator pitch. I'll give one to you as well. But before that, how do we just get more in touch with yourself? How do we follow you? Where are all the places we go to click like on Nicolaus Sleister?
Yeah, so we are on, obviously you can go to our website. We're on TikTok. You can just search Nicolaus Sleister for Congress. We're on Twitter or X, Instagram, Facebook, all of those. Just search Nicolaus Sleister for Congress, and you will be able to find us very easily, as we had to select different variations of Nick VA2 on some of those. So, but you can always find us on nickva2.com, and you can reach out to us at any point in time. And we are more than welcome to get back to you. We try to get back to everybody within just an hour or so if they message us.
It's a great timeline. I like that. Now for what is effectively the finale of pitching yourself. Let's say that we just walked into an elevator and we were like, hey, we just learned that you're running for Congress. How would you sell us on yourself for Congress?
Absolutely. Well, let me start by saying I'm Nicolaus Sleister and I'm running for Congress because I believe we're stronger as one. I've lived the struggles too many families face, and I'm here to fight for us. I'm not backed by corporations. I'm backed by real people. If you want a representative who knows what it's like to struggle and will never stop fighting for you, then join us at nickva2.com and let's build a future together because we are stronger as one.
I want to thank you personally for coming on the show, discussing your politics, why you want to run, what makes you you, selling us on the idea of Nicolaus Sleister for Virginia's 2nd District Congressperson, because I definitely want to learn more between now and next November's, not this November, but next November when you'll finally have your election day.
Yes.
So thank you for coming on the show. I definitely want to stay in touch, and I'll be seeing you around, good sir.
Great. Thank you all so much.
All right, guys. Now, this was another fantastic SchezzWho. And you just heard from Nicolaus Sleister, running for the Democrat primary in Virginia's 2nd Congressional District. Thank you all for tuning in. Please like, comment, and subscribe, just like Burke Stringfellow did, also running for Congress in the 2nd District, also in the Democrat primary. And I want to make sure that you guys are caught next time. You have a great night.